Good morning, welcome to London. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you had a wonderful night as well. So, today, we're just gonna go straight into some trade ideas for today. Um, British pound, yesterday I mentioned that we could see a trade below this low. Even though seasonal tendency is looking for higher prices, we probably might we might get a run below this low before that buy unfolds. At the same time, I want you to keep an eye on the daily time frame because even though we are, or right now, I'm currently expecting price to drop, it can reject and go higher. So everything is going to be based on the daily time frame, and we don't want to see price give a bullish close above this high. It can do it, but if it does it, then we know that our seasonal buy is kicking in and we can actually buy it. So for today, because we have this swing high in here, I'm expecting price to drop lower. On the 4-hour time frame, I was expecting them to retrace a little bit and then we sell short. Inside that auto block, there is a couple of gaps in there. So this one, and there's one on the 5 minutes in here. I decided to give the first one. Obviously, your stop loss is going to be below, above this high, all right, and you're targeting down here, okay. If they do retrace, that's your sell. Now, there's a probability they might not because of this in here, right? That's a gap on the H4 and they've already dipped in it, so there might be a probability they don't, but I still like that level. Okay, it's still early for the day, and looking at how the dollar index, it's we probably might get that, unless, as you look at the dollar index right now, unless we make a new high above this high, then I don't think that will be the case because that will eventually continue going higher. But with this and with that, I think it might come up a little bit more because the dollar index is looking to retrace. I actually like this H4 gap in here. That one right there, I like that. So if it's gonna retrace and it gets there, that also gives you optimal trade entry, right? So it's in a nice area where they could retrace and go high again. Daily is still bullish, right? So there you go. Euro is mixed right now. Even though the 4-hour is making lower lows, right? But it's mixed because Euro's pound is strong for the moment, or at the moment, right? So it's not bullish nor bearish, it's mixed right now in here, but the main trend currently on the H4 is to the downside. So I think here was in the bad level. Let's actually go into the lower time frame. Even though it's gone, that's what I will suggest you guys will do, because you know how to do it now. So drop down to the 15, to the 5, to the 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's identify the gap. So we have one here. Okay, let's go to the 3. not showing properly. Let's go to the 2. Okay, so coming down to the 2, I like the 2 because it's showing these 2, and I like the first one because of this high. They're both good. This high just underneath that, right? And then this high just underneath that. I like both of them. So you already know price rejected from that level, but I'm doing it so that you will see. So in future, when you see things like that, that's exactly how you do it. All right. I'm going to the 5 and speed it up. Okay, so you can see it went to the second one, closed that second one in, and then rejected. So back to the 15 and back to the 1 inside that auto block. That's where it needed to go, and then rejection. All right. On the H4, this can go and make a new low because it's making lower lows on the H4, right? That's the last low. So with this pullback, it could go back and make a new low, but I am not touching this at the moment. I don't trust euro right now. Okay, NFP Friday, I don't trust this pair, so I'm gonna take my trust somewhere else, this one, because price is clean. Okay, it doesn't have all that back and forth in here, so I prefer this one, selling short, to go down here. All right. New Zealand, yesterday I was targeting here, and you can see it didn't quite get there for me to close the trade, and it's rejecting. Now I wasn't buying it to go to the moon, right? It was a scalp. I should have closed the trade anyway, but I wanted to see if it can close in the first gap that I had in here. So I'm gonna leave it and see how it performs inside this gap, because my stop loss is just below that gap, so we'll see how it's going to perform. But to me, it looks like they probably might take out this low and trade somewhere down here for optimal trade entry for a continuation to the upside, maybe next week. So between this low and that high, we could see trade somewhere in here, this move to the downside, or being an auto block, and then a move up. So new high, price likes to retrace, optimal trade entry, and then we look for a buy to continue going up. So here, somewhere in here, all right, we find a gap on the lower time frame, and then we anticipate a buy from there. This one is too close to this high, and I think they will take it out. Okay, they will take this one out, so I'll probably end up being stopped out. But if we take out this low, I will look for a sell to continue going lower and to get somewhere down here, and then I'll find a buy. So maybe inside this area there's going to be a gap there. So that's where I'll be looking to buy again. So if they drop down there, that's a buy opportunity to go back up for April. So we're buying this pair for the month of April, and I think buying down here would be ideal. All right, or just wait for it to drop, form a swing low on the 4-hour / daily, and then upon the confirmation of that swing, then you can start looking for your buy. Okay, So for today, between now and Friday, I think it might continue going lower, especially with the dollar looking to go higher. The best scalping opportunity will be for this afternoon when we hit New York session. We will let London trade, and then it will establish what the New York session might potentially do. So once we hit New York, we will get some scalps to we might get some scalps to increase our equity. I did get some scalps early this morning on Aussie New Zealand, which I'll show you in a second. I bought it here yesterday. My entry didn't get triggered, so I canceled it. But this morning I bought this one in here, targeting that high, and I was going to leave a portion to continue going up here, but then I saw this drop, so I decided to close the trade and then set a buy limit again down here, because we made a new high, right? So on the 1 hour we've made a new high, so if they're retracing, I want to buy in discount. So what I just did was measure the high to the low and anticipating a retracement to discount, and then I'll buy again. Right, so that will be probably for the New York session. I'm looking to buy this gap in here. Okay, let's go back to that. Aussie, nothing really going on with the Aussie. I think it's moved into some form of a consolidation. For long term, I think they might retrace a little bit. Again, it would be probably the NFP, that news event. They might use that. They might use that for the retracement. So don't touch it until maybe a scalp on the lower time frame, yes, but not long term. Okay, long term, wait till after Friday, right? Because after Friday we know what they're trying to do, and then we go in. I know that they're gonna probably take it higher, but we'll wait for them to confirm it with the news event on Friday. Okay, so if you're looking for scalp, drop down to the 15 and then trade your 15 minutes imbalances and auto blocks and so on, right? If you're looking for an idea, frame it off from the H4 and then trade it off from the 5 or 15 minutes. So let's say right now, I don't see anything high probability yet. Let me check the 1 hour. Maybe on this 1 hour time frame there could be something, because we did take out this high. So whenever I'm looking to scalp, right, I look at the candles in terms of higher time frame. So I'm not, even though this is a 1 hour, I'm not looking at this as a 1 hour, I'm looking at this as a daily, right? So if this was a daily, what would that be? We have this 1 2 3 low here, 1 2 3 high here, we form a low and then we make a new high. So in my opinion, right, that's a breaking market structure. Okay, and this is a pullback. So inside this big down candle, that's the auto block, and I want to find a gap within that. So in the 15 minutes, you can see we are currently trading here. If I want to go down into the lower time frames and find the actual gaps, then I can do that. 3 2 Okay, so far I see this one here, and pretty much that's it. That's the only thing I can see in here. So I'll highlight this, and they've gone through that. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have the I don't have the 30 seconds chart, so I can go lower than that. But because we are still inside that shaded area, okay, and I can't find any gap, what you can do is just on the 1 minute chart, find your swings where price is gonna break structure. So low, high, low, that's your last impulse leg. So we want to see price climb above this high, and then we can get a confirmation of a potential long. So if they close above that, we trace, that's a buy to go and attack this high, because that's where price originated from for the pullback. So a break above that, retracement, and then off it goes for that high. Okay, so that's how, if you're looking for a scalp, that's how you're gonna do it. Frame the trade off from 1 hour or 4 hour time frame, but don't look at that time frame as a 1 hour, 4 hour. Just look at it as how you would do your higher time frame analysis. So that will give you some form of a strength in your, or confidence in your analysis by looking at this as a 1 minute. By looking at this as a 1 hour, you probably will not take the trade, okay, because you'll be thinking, this is a 1 hour time frame and it's not strong. But price is price. It's just fractal. So if they're going to go up, it doesn't matter whether it's 1 hour or 15 minutes. It's gonna do the same thing. Okay. So that's the Aussie. For long term, I don't see anything yet, but for scalping, that's what I've just outlined here. Euro, pound. I mentioned in the group chat that I had a gap, and I did place my sell limit from yesterday, and I got triggered, and I'm watching the lower time frame for breaking market structure. That's the gap there, and it's within the H4. So what I'm looking for now is a breaking market structure, at least on the 15 minutes, right? So that's what I'm expecting before they take out this high, right? I don't want to see them do that. If they do, I'll still watch it, because that will essentially take out previous week high, okay? And if they take out previous week high, then there's a high probability price is gonna potentially reject, especially with them not taking out previous week low. So if they take previous week's high first, then we might see a potential rejection. So even if I get stopped out on this, I will still be interested in how price will trade after that. All right. The best thing was to wait for breaking market structure, but it triggered me in whilst I was driving my son to school, so I couldn't do anything about it. So I'm just gonna leave it and see. All right. Oil. Yesterday I mentioned that the oil is looking to drop, and we're looking for price to reach for this and then that. What I have for today, it's I think on the 1 hour here, right? I want to see it reject from there. I want to see oil reject from this. I don't want to see them break above this high. If they do, that's not good. So as where we are right now, that should sell off oil again. and for a day trade I think this would be a good profit target, but first one should be here and then second one being there. And for the rest of the week I'll be expecting that, unless I'm wrong and they take out this high, then that's a different scenario. But as it is right now, I'm seeing this as a pullback to go low again. So I am going to take a sell with a stop loss of 177. There you go. So let's see. All right, let's see what happens. Gold. Okay, I haven't looked at gold since yesterday. Okay. Gold is probably looking to attack this low. Yesterday when I looked at the futures market on gold, it was trading in here, and I think I highlighted a few gaps down here, and so far they've gone for that low. That means that weekly there's been a pullback. They will come back down here before any buying opportunity for the seasonal tendency. So I'll look for a run below this low, maybe back down here, and then a buy. So I'll look for gold to trade below this low. Okay, so look for gold look for gold to drop for this low here, and watch it down there. Let me check the date. The seasonal low should form okay, so the seasonal low usually forms around today and tomorrow. Between today and tomorrow, it should form a seasonal low. So it makes sense that they might attack this low and then reject. All right, so you can do two things. Either you find a sell to attack this low and then buy it again, or wait for it to get down here, form a low, and then you look to buy it. Okay, so in looking for sell, 1 hour has made a new low here, and pulling back pulling back. I like this one. Okay, yeah, I'll leave the stop loss above that one. Let's go to the 3 minutes. Right there. This one looks nice. Okay, now I'll look to sell there. So if it starts pulling back, that'll be a decent level. And then look for that continuation to the downside with a first objective. The low, whatever low that leads price to come up, that's going to be the first objective. So if we form a low here and it starts retracing, that's going to be your first objective. Okay. Let's go back to this. And dollar CAD. I think dollar CAD, I gave you a gap to watch for a buy in here. Watch that gap. Think. And I like this as a target. I like that as a target. It can go and make a new high, but I like that just for this week. Okay, don't have to go up here to be profitable. So if it retraces there, look for a buy. Just go and check that pound. Okay, pound did not retrace as much as I wanted it to. It's a shame. Look at the Aussie. Okay, dollar made a new high. That means a continuation to the downside on all of these. New York session will be fun. It will pull back and then we'll get an entry for British pound. I still like the British pound for a sell. So New York session will give us a pullback. We'll use this order block here. Yeah, in here. And if it stops out, you sell the upper one because it's still bearish. So for New York session, that'll be a decent level to use. And you still target him down there. Okay. Let's go to Bitcoin. If we take out this high, look at any gap that is left down here, and then on pullback you buy that, because if you take out this, I don't think it will get down there. It doesn't have to, because it's deep in discount already. All right, it's deep in discount already, but it would have been great if it did go down for that imbalance. Yes, it's valid. It can get up there. It can get up there. I see what you're talking about. This one. If you go into that weekly, it's within that auto block, so it can get up there. I just love that the one I chose is on the H4 as well. I love this one because it's a nice move away on the H4. That's why I use that, but it looks like they're going through that. So yes, you can watch this in here. Where is it? This one as well. There was one that I just saw, yeah, on the 15 minutes. This one, you can watch that. Maybe I'll have to probably adjust my stop loss to this high, and then I'll see, because if they take out this high and hit this imbalance, it can drop, because it's a weekly high. This high is a weekly high right there. I'll come back to this one maybe after the session, and I'll keep updating you guys on how it progress. It just needs to break market structure, so you can just sit on your hands and wait for that breaking structure first. All right, you don't have to jump in as it's going up like that, okay? Because sometimes, because of the momentum coming up, it can be scary selling that momentum. Okay, so you just patiently wait for a breaking structure, and then you just sell it. All right. Okay, where did we get to? Bitcoin. I think yesterday I gave you the upside objectives, right? Here, and there. So I've not managed to get entry on this one because I haven't done anything, but yeah, I think there was one in here. Yesterday I did get, oh, it didn't trigger me in on Ethereum. that was nice. If I had been on if I had been on Bitcoin, that would have been a sniper entry right there. Okay, on the 5 minutes, bam. But yesterday I did buy, no, I didn't buy it, but I did place a paper trade in here, right? And that also got entry right there. Didn't quite get to that profit target, but I did get somewhere. And you can see it's going back up again. So Ethereum should go for that, and that. So 3511, 3628, 3719. Those are the upside objectives. Okay, was there a news? Something just hit the market. Calendar. Was there news? Probably. Yeah, there's the news. Okay. They've started the manipulation for NFP, so I'll be careful going forward. That looks very suspicious to me. Okay, that looks very suspicious, so I'll be careful going forward. Let me see. Okay, I think yesterday we talked about this being a pullback and going back up again using optimal trade entry, and I said I was going to send it out. We looked at the Swiss and the Swiss and the CAD, and we saw that the CAD is going to continue going up, the Swiss was going to continue going down. So that will give us CAD Swiss, and it's going to continue going up. I actually added to my position yesterday, somewhere in here. Yeah, right in there, I added to my position. So I took partial and then I added to my position. Aussie, same thing, I added to my position on that one. When I saw, what did I see? I think I saw a swing low. I saw a swing low and I decided to add to it because I trusted that this should continue going up based on what I just showed you, right? By looking at the futures market, the Swiss was bearish, the Aussie was bullish. Okay, so Aussie Swiss is going to continue going up. Same thing applies to the New Zealand Swiss, even though it's still in that retracement drawdown. It's only traded inside this order block, so I think it should also go back up again. But apart from that, I've refrained from giving you anything on the yen pairs because they are extremely high. Okay, this is absolutely crazy. I've not seen anything like that yet. It's the first time I'm seeing such a huge buy without any sort of pullback. Okay, if you go through price, okay, what you're seeing now is quite different. Apart from the one we had in September, which was a crazy one, this is even more crazier because there is absolutely no down candle. It's all blue, 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 blue. Here we had a few down candles, but here it's just like all up. This is when you start applying the concept that I showed you on the higher time frame by just buying when we have the seasonal tendency showing bullish with a swing low confirmation. So I think I did one, I documented this one here, and you can see I still have my lines on there. So by applying that by applying the seasonal tendency on the high time frame to this, right, Aussie is strong from February to April, and then you have the yen being weak from February to April. So the buy scenario, or the buy, will be waiting for a swing low to confirm a buy. So in here, that's when we had a swing low. So the buy will be on this very candle. So buying long on the open of that candle and then holding on to it. So anytime it forms another swing low, you buy another one. So the next one it formed another swing low was here. 1, 2, 3 with the close. Okay, don't forget that this is not a close, so I'm not using that. So you can see I have my lines there. So I was documenting if I was buying this with that strategy or with that framework, then I would have got an entry here and just write this thing up until April. So I'll be getting out probably tomorrow, which will be 1st April. So if you draw a vertical line, 1st April. Now imagine if you bought down here with a stop below that, and we are currently up there, and then you get a second entry here with a stop below that, and we are currently here. All right, that's the power of using the strategy that I shared with you guys on the daily, which is look at the seasonal tendency for two currencies and then know what each individual is going to do. Right, that's what I've given you on Aussie Swiss. Okay, by looking at the Swiss and by looking at the Aussie, essentially we know that the Swiss is weak, the Aussie is strong, so we just buy on confirmation of a swing low. So that swing low was confirmed here. All right, so we bought this candle. All right, and so far, even though it's not gone up as much as the yen pairs, eventually I think it will. Okay, and same thing applies to the CAD, and I showed you here that the CAD is going to look to do what? Attack this equal high, so you can look for a buy on this as well. Right, so I got two entries, one here and then one there, and then yesterday I added one more to it after taking partial. Okay, now I gave you the Swiss pairs because we missed out on the Aussie pairs. I'm sorry, the yen pairs. That's why I gave you the Swiss pairs. Now again, on the Swiss pairs, I did not give you Euro Swiss because the euro was currently weak. But if you look at by looking at it today, okay, that was a buy day today was a buy day because we have what, a swing low confirmation. So today was a buy day. Now these things, right, you have to do a bit of work by being aware first. Okay, you have to first of all be aware of the seasonal tendencies. Okay, that's why I think last week when we started on Monday, I gave you the seasonal tendencies and which ones are strong and which ones are weak. Okay, so you should have them because I have my notes here. I said CAD is bullish, Aussie is bullish, New Zealand is bullish, Euro is not great, Pound is not great, Swiss is bearish, Japanese yen is bearish, and Dixie is looking to go up till 30th of March. So the stronger pairs are CAD, Aussie, and New Zealand. The weaker pairs are Swiss and JPY, and Euro and Pound is on the sidelines. So by being aware of that information, right, then the next step will be waiting for the opportunity to use the CAD against the Swiss, the CAD against the yen, the Aussie against the yen, the Aussie against the Swiss, the New Zealand against the Swiss, and the New Zealand against the Japi. Right, and that was last week. So last week Monday, today's Tuesday, that's last week Monday. So we had this move, CAD had that move. We didn't use the Pound because Pound was weak. Aussie had that move, and then the New Zealand had that move. Okay, so what I'm anticipating this week is basically the Swiss to give us something like that on the Swiss pairs. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Let's go on to now obscured pairs for me. Euro Aussie did eventually take out this low and is pulling back. I think it might continue going lower. It's just pulling back. So the next downside objective I gave was in here. That'll be the next downside objective. So with this pullback, okay, let me check the H4. Let's see how price is gonna react above this high. Do they close or reject? If they close, then we are going to probably trade back up to this low. All right, if they close above this high, we might see trade up to that low before a continuation to the downside. So it can offer a buying opportunity. So wait, we have 3 New York session. We will come back to this during the New York session. Euro NZD. Okay, that one failed to take out this low, but it's still bearish because we've broken down. So how far is it gonna retrace? Somewhere up here. Yep, somewhere up there, and then we'll probably see it continue going lower. Let's go back to this. highlight that area. Let's go. We do have that gap there, so I trust that. Sounds a bit weird. There's absolutely nothing in there, so I'll use the previous week's high as the PD array, and then the gap in here as well. So previous week high into this gap, I'll watch that. I'll watch in here to see if it will reject and continue going lower. Okay, so Euro, New Zealand, that's what we'll be watching. Let's go and check the pound. Okay, pound is still bearish. It's looking to attack this equal low. I did get my final TP on this from the sell that I took up here. If you remember, I had a sell. It took me out. I was checking last night. Okay, I got stopped out on the euro pound. I'll come back to that. Watch this pair, all right, because this is a long-term low or a high time frame low. It's a monthly low, so if they take that low out, it might offer some form of a buying opportunity. So keep an eye on it to see if it will give you some form of a rejection. So a swing low forming after that low has been taken can give you a significant bounce. So keep an eye on that. All right, here. And pound New Zealand. This one is flat. It's not doing anything. Same thing with this. Look at this low. Once that low has been taken, it can offer you, I think I keep deleting that gap. This one, look down there and then look for buying opportunity as price gets here. Okay, any questions? Let's come back to this and look at what's happening. Okay, it's dropping down to that gap that I was looking for. That was a nice stop run out there. That one got very close to my stop loss. Oil short is not doing bad. Now, let me say this. When we meet, right, there is going to be lots and lots of, trading opportunities out there. And you don't have to take every single one of them, because if you do, you end up doing damage to your account because it's not going to be balanced. So you have to pick and choose pairs that you like to trade, and then based on the analysis that I gave, you can, maybe I will do analysis on a pair that you trade, and then you can take that trade on that pair. Don't force yourself to, because I am doing the analysis, you're gonna force yourself to take every single pair that I go through, because as you can see, right, not all the trades, okay, will play out exactly as, most of them will, but not all of them. And sometimes, because of the way our psychology works, right, you might take a trade with more risk on the one that is a loss, and then the one that isn't a loss, you take it with a less risk. So you probably might end up not doing well because you're not consistent. Okay, so try your best not to take every single analysis that I do. You have to pick and choose, and in picking and choosing, it's not based on your feeling. It has to be based on something that you like. Okay, so if you like trading, say, gold only, then don't take a pound dollar trade that I'm outlining, because that's not your pair. That's not the pair you trade. Okay, so if you don't have that, I suggest you do, because one of the things that I have recommended everyone to do, you need to sit down and find out at least not more than 6, okay, pairs that you can dedicate your time to look at on a daily basis. 6 is even too much. The ideal number is 3, but we being traders, we want to look at more. So I've increased it to 6. So out of that 6, right, you will get probably 2 or 3 that will give you high probability trades, or even just 1. So it's friendly advice: do not take every single thing that I put out there, okay, because you might not be able to track every single one of them, and you might depend on me, which I don't want you to. Okay, I want you to be an independent thinker and also trader, where you find your own setup and you trade your own setup with the guide of what I am showing you. All right. So it's gone past 10:30, so I'm gonna disappear. I'll keep an eye on this euro here, euro pound, because if it's gonna change direction and go up again, I want to be ready for it, right? Even though I am so highly suspicious about this run here, it can end up being a swing low as well for the week. And then if it does, obviously we know what to do. We highlighting auto block, because it's now creating one here, created one there, one here. So we highlight the active one, which is this one, drop down inside this, nice one here. That's if we close bullish for the week, then that would be a decent level for a buy, because that weekly would have confirmed 1, 2, 3 swing low, and I will look to target this high. and that high. All right, so whichever direction that they want to take price, you'll be ready for it. Okay, I would have preferred them go lower, but it is what it is. Not lower as in to take out this low, but for the week come back down to somewhere in here, because I think there was a gap down there. That's where I wanted to buy. So I'm gonna have that still there just in case. Okay, this one decides to reject and start screaming down. I will ignore that. This will be active if the weekly closes bullish, or I'll buy this if the weekly closes bullish. If it doesn't, then this whole run is just manipulation, and they will come back down somewhere here, or at least to take out previous week low, then buy up to go up here, because I'm seeing this. I mentioned that I think 2 weeks ago. I'm seeing this as bullish, right? Where we have break, right? So this is just a pullback, but I wanted to see it a little bit deeper to go back up again. So let's see. Yeah, dollar is screaming down there. Let's see where pound is. Let's go and look at the Aussie New Zealand. I think I'm happy with my oil trade. A bit of Swiss pairs as well. All right. Let me go and get some breakfast, and I'll see you at 12 at 2 p.m. Okay, enjoy your